am going to take you through this step by step of what to do in your essays. So let's take a look here. Number one, you want to read the prompt and also watch the video that goes over the prompt. I did kind of walk you through it. So I would do both, take a good look at it and then make sure to watch the video so that you have a really good idea of what you're supposed to be doing. So that would be number one. Number two, choose one of the prompt options. So there's 4 different options. You're basically talking about what you think is the best animation form. So that could be the new Into the Spider-Verse kind of graphic novel format. It could be Pixar's 3D format. It could be anime. It could be stop motion. Just depends on what you want to talk about. Step 3, you want to determine your argumentative thesis. So here's an example for choice 4 from the prompt, which is talking about Pixar's 3D animation. So you might start here and say Pixar's 3D animation films are still the best form of animation, but then that's a little bit simplistic. So go even further. So now you want to say, okay, so why? Why is it the best? So we might add on. So we might say Pixar's 3D animation films are still the best because their stories have complex themes, their characters are universally relatable, their settings are highly imaginative, and their humor is adult themed. So now we've got the why, and we've also got some good possible topics for body paragraphs. So that's great. And then we might want to even take it one step further. So how does it fit in with the animation genre? So maybe we want to talk about something at the very beginning. So maybe we'll want to say something like this: despite the Spider-Verse series' recent success at the box office, Pixar's 3D animation films are still the best because their stories have complex themes, their characters are universally relatable, their settings are highly imaginative, and their humor is adult themed. So now we've got, that would be a full thesis. So that's kind of what you're looking for. And again, it can be any of the 4 choices. You can be talking about anime, stop motion, the Spider-Verse, whatever you want to say here. This is just an example for choice 4. But this is the idea of how to develop your thesis. Then you want to go back to any videos or articles we've read in the unit that relate to your topic and rewatch or reread them, looking for details you can quote that back up your assertions. So, if you are going to talk about 3D animation, then you might want to look back at the pros and cons of 3D animation versus 2D animation. We read an article about that. Maybe look at that, etc. If you're doing a different choice, if you want to do anime, for example, look back at the videos we watched on anime. If you want to do stop motion, look back at the videos we watched on stop motion, and think about how can you quote from those video essays or articles or whatever to back up what you're going to talk about in your essay, and make a list of possible quotes that you might be able to use. This is just getting started. You may or may not use those quotes, but you do want to just start getting some ideas of things that you could put in there. Step number 5, research the LBCC library or Google Scholar or Google or, any other forms of research, looking for recent, within the last few years if you can, reputable articles or video essays that back up your assertions. So for the LBCC library, you can go to, that's the URL for the library. You can click on search for articles, ebooks, and streaming media. That's one place you can look. Click on databases by subject and look for databases that go with your topic. There's one on arts, for example, that might work. Or click on news and newspaper, and then you can look for things like there's a tab on the Los Angeles Times. There's other newspapers in there. You could try that. For Google Scholar, you can just go to Google, type in Google Scholar, and that'll bring up Google's scholarly database, and then just search as usual. And same thing, you're just going to look for articles about whatever it is that you're going to talk about. So this is still step 5 continued. When searching, you want to use keywords that relate to your topic. So think of different combinations of keyword searches. So if I was going to be still, going with the choice 4 example, I might put in things like Pixar emotion or Pixar character emotion or Pixar emotion soul movie, like that's a specific movie there, or Pixar emotion Los Angeles Times, put a specific, publication in there, maybe Pixar emotional scenes. Maybe I want to look for specific scenes. All of that kind of stuff is going to help you to come up with new articles. Pixar best animation, all of those things are going to bring up different articles, and then you're just going to search through and try and find the ones that you think are going to be best to quote from for your essay. Step 6, once you've found a couple articles you think will work, be sure to get all the information you need for the work cited. So you're going to need the last name and first name of the author, the article title, the publication, the date, and the URL. So make sure to put that down somewhere. Make sure to type that up as you're researching so that you have that information and you don't have to try to look for it later. It's going to save you a million hours of time later. And then read the articles and look for any parts that you think will help back up what you want to say. So you're going to have to read the articles and then highlight things that you think will help to back up what you think you might say in the article. So again, this is just preliminary, but you want to at least have an idea of some quotes that you could use as you're getting ready to write. Step 7, look back at the works cited rules on Canvas and put together your works cited. Now you have your articles that you might use. You can always change that or go back and add more or whatever. But and for articles, again, last name, first name, article title, publication date, and URL. For films, you're going to want the film title in italics. Directed by, and the director's there. Performances by for animation is the voice actors for the main characters, just, the 2 or 3 main characters, not all of them. The studio or the distributor, and then the year. And you can look those up on imdb.com. That's the best place to look. That has all the films on it. And if you just put in the movie, it will bring up all that information for you. And then start writing your introduction. And as you're writing your introduction, remember that you're writing to an audience that doesn't know anything about your topic. So you'll need to briefly summarize your topic for them and then put your thesis at the end. Remember, this is an analysis argumentative essay, not a review. So you're not saying why you liked it. You're analyzing what makes it the best form of animation. And then step 9, now you're going to outline your body paragraph topics. So once you have your introduction, now each paragraph should have a topic sentence introducing the main point of the paragraph. That's the first sentence in the paragraph. And each paragraph should only be about one topic. So if I was going back to our choice 4 example, complex themes was one thing I was going to talk about. So that I might have one paragraph on complex themes. And then I might put specifically underneath that, okay, maybe I'm going to talk about soul, which has complex themes, like trying to find your life's purpose, turning red, puberty and separating from parental expectations, inside out, being sad about moving and losing friends. So you could use any in there, of course. These are just, examples. Relatable characters, May from Turning Red, Joe from Soul, Woody from Toy Story. Imaginative settings like Monsters Incorporated or Toy Story, adult-themed humor. There's a lot of great humor in Monsters Incorporated. And then go back to your list of quotes and determine which ones you can use for each paragraph. So if each of these are your paragraphs, one paragraph on complex themes, one on relatable characters, one on imaginative settings, one on adult-themed humor, then as you're looking back at the articles you think you're going to use, look for ones that go with these particular topics. And then, and you might have to do more research too. Maybe you want to do research on humor and imaginative settings and relatable characters. You might go back then and do more research. But now you have kind of an outline of your essay. And then you're going to start writing your body paragraphs. So again, you want your first line to be about whatever your paragraph topic's about. That's so this one says, Pixar's characters often grapple with complex emotional struggles that make the audience connect with them on a deeper level. And then this is your own commentary. Inside Out is a good example, as Riley is both literally and figuratively battling with her emotions. Now we have a quote from an article, and we need all that information in the lead-in. So in the article, 10 Pixar characters with surprisingly deep storylines, CBR writer Barney Watts says, and then we have the quote, Inside Out is a movie about mental health and the importance of talking to someone about your feelings rather than keeping it all inside. And then we have the end of the quote. Now we have an explanation. This shows the film's complex inner workings, something Pixar is more adept at than other studios. And now transition, Turning Red is another example. Now we're going to quote from another one. In her article, 13 Most Emotional Moments That Weren't Meant for Kids, Screen Rant's Stacey Rooks says, in addition to Turning Red's many relatable moments around puberty, the movie also explored family pressures and generational trauma, as shown through the ways that May's relatives handled their experiences with their red pandas. This shows the depth of emotional trauma the film tackles, thereby separating it from other animation genres. So we've got two quote sandwiches there, so quoting from 2 different ones, and then wrapping up, while anime also deals with complex themes, it is more situational, whereas Pixar's emotion comes from its characters. So now we've got a full body paragraph just about one topic, which is emotional complexity, and we've got 2 quotes from articles to back up what we're saying. So that's the idea there. Then you want to write your conclusion. Obviously, you want to have more body paragraphs. This is just one. You would want to have probably at least 3 or 4, depending on how many topics you want to write about and that kind of thing. So this is just one example. And then write your conclusion. For your conclusion, you want to summarize the main points, draw further conclusions, end with something the audience will remember, and be very careful not to just repeat the introduction. This shouldn't be a repeat of the intro. It should be, now that you've told your audience everything that you've talked about in your essay, now you want to explain, like, what does that show, or what should they remember, or that kind of thing. So don't forget your works cited at the end. All the articles or video essays and films you used in your essay should be cited in the works cited. If you have any questions about that, or you have a citation for like a YouTube article or something that you don't know how to cite, you can always go to Purdue OWL, and you can also just email me, and I'm happy to help you with that as well. So good luck with everything, and let me know if you need any help.